Welcome back. It is 1651. In the last one, Rebecca eloped with Dakota and moved in with him. Austin became a teenager. Humphrey V passed on. What is the words I'm looking for here? Um, and Jacqueline got caught doing magic to try to resurrect him, which caused her to get burned at the stake. And then that's a good point, actually. I forgot to mark Jacqueline as dead last year. Okay, now the rambling has begun, you guys. Nyla and Nathaniel have started a relationship, and then we did introduce the Anderson family. So this year, we have a few birthdays, very exciting. We have 3 toddlers: Ruth Hobart, Barbara Dubois, and Rejoice Smith. No 4, 8, or 17. Okay. So they all survived. Jason Waldrick, no 7 or 14, becoming a teenager. Survived. Will he have children? No, 1 through 6. I mean, will he get married? He will not get married. And then Elliot Waldrick is becoming an adult part 2, has to get at least a 9. He does. And then for our townies, birthdays. Okay, we have Delilah Smith aging up into a teenager. Amos Phelps and Melly Yazzie both becoming children. Very exciting stuff. All right, let's hop into the game. Alrighty, so we are going to have Austin do some more horse training stuff. You know, he's kind of caught the bug for it. He has always loved horses and loved riding horses, and so now to be able to make some money off of that is really great for him because he is always, you know, he wants to do something that he loves, even though his fathers have been like, you can go to college, you can do this, you can do that. And he's just kind of like, I don't want to. He just wants to ride horses. Little Phineas is a great candidate for college, but not really so much Austin. So Austin is going to go up to the next bracket, to the intermediate bracket of the horse championships, whatever it is, and he did also get a gold on that bracket. So that is really, really awesome. And he is just going to continue to practice his horse riding. Meanwhile, it is Harvest Fest, so we are going to not only do the chores around the house, which we obviously haven't been doing given the state of that stinky, stinky chicken coop, but also cook a grand meal and have like a family dinner. So we're going to start with that. And then we'll go out to church with the rest of the community. But for now, we're just spending some time with our family, enjoying each other. Grim keeps taking all of my chickens. Every single time I visit this lot, Grim just takes all the chickens and then leaves. But that's okay. We are going to continue to have Austin practice. He is really into it, and his fathers are really supportive of anything he wants to do. I mean, honestly, they don't even really have jobs. Like, they don't really do anything besides tend the garden and sell their eggs and their vegetables and flowers and stuff. Like, they don't have necessarily a calling. I think they've always liked having a horse around the house, and they love that Austin has decided to, inherit that gene of wanting to horse ride and stuff, but they never took it that far, as that Austin is taking it. So they're really proud of him for that. And we are just all being thankful today for everything that we have. We are being thankful for, their family and their house and everything. And we're going to go to church and go thank God for everything that they have. So everybody is going to go do that. And of course, the sermon is going to be said by none other than Humphrey the Fourth there. So Humphrey is going to make a speech to everyone and basically talk about what he's thankful for as well. And then we are having a baby. That is Winona Waldrick, the first baby to Dakota and Rebecca. Very exciting. I'm so happy that they are starting to have kids and, having their family and everything. So what we are doing here is just updating everything. But yeah, so Humphrey is giving a speech to everybody about community and thankfulness and all that. So there is that. And after the sermon, he is actually going to talk to his family a little bit. He kind of wants to show that he's not worried about the rumors about Solomon and Bernard. He's going to come and chat with not Humphrey, Austen a bit, and be nice to Austen and kind of introduce Austen to some people. And very much like Humphrey kind of thinks that by trying to kind of take Austen under his wing in a way that he is saving him, even though he does not need to be saved at all. And so he is trying to kind of take Austen around, introduce him to people, try and kind of cultivate who he thinks that Austen should be friends with. And Austen actually likes Humphrey. Obviously he's just a child. He's 13 or 14, but he, Humphrey is very nice and very charismatic. If he wasn't, he wouldn't have gotten this position. And so he's very charismatic, and he's just kind of talking with Austen and introducing him to people. And, Austen doesn't have a lot of friends, so it's just kind of all very nice in his opinion. He doesn't really get that Humphrey has these ulterior motives, but of course, once he gets home, his dads are going to kind of say to him, like, you have to be careful about Humphrey. Like, he's not someone you can trust. He's not someone who is safe to be around. Like, he is very much trying to, harm our family in a way. So they're just trying to kind of tell him, like, hey, you got to be careful with who you trust. Not everybody is who they seem to be on the surface. And Austen is kind of mad because he does like that hanging around with Humphrey today has kind of given him a bit of a social boost. So he is a little mad at them for saying that, and he kind of lashes out and says basically, like, at least he's nice. He's nice. He's not fighting all the time. He's not arguing all the time. Like, like he's kind of calling his fathers out for the sort of toxic environment they've started creating, in that they are arguing all the time and that their relationship is really not doing well. And the kids see that. The children see that that is a problem, and it's really, affecting them, because why would you want to be home to be around all that? And so they have to kind of talk to each other and be really serious about it and be like, okay, this is affecting the kids now. That's really bad. Like, that's really bad. Like, we've been having talks about what we should do, and like, even their romance bar has gone up a lot since last year. I don't know why, but it's gone up a lot. And so, but they still have to have this conversation where they're like, this is affecting the children, this like kind of on and off again, hot and cold type of deal. And do we really want to continue to do that? Like, it's kind of pushing them to really make a decision about what they think they should do regarding their relationship. So the morning comes, and we're going to do all of the chores before we head out again. So let's just sell the honey and all of that. Of course, they never do all the honey stuff queued up because the bees attack them and then it ruins the queue. But we're going to head out now actually to Humphrey's household. So we're going to go over, if you remember last time, Humphrey had Jacqueline burned at the stake for witchcraft, and so we are going to have him here. And then Temperance has still been practicing her magic, has been practicing in private, and has definitely not told anybody, although we do know that one of her daughters is going to a spellcaster, the youngest one there so far. But yeah, so she's really struggling with having to keep this secret. She's struggling with the guilt of what happened, how she didn't stick up for Jacqueline, how she didn't help protect her friend, and she just kind of let her take the fall and be executed for everything, even though she kind of was the one who asked Jacqueline to come over and help try to save her son. And it was just an act of desperation, and it didn't really go super well. So Humphrey and Temperance actually aren't getting along really well lately, and most of it is because of the whole situation with Jacqueline, even though he thinks that Temperance is a victim of Jacqueline's witchcraft. At the same time, he's like, you were weak. You let her trick you into thinking that she could do something for you. You gave into temptation, all that stuff. And also, he is trying to keep a way closer eye on her now because he thinks that she can't be trusted to not fall into like wicked ways. And not only that, but like their only son has died, and they have 3 daughters, and he's really pressuring her about giving him a son. Obviously that is not something she can force, but he's really pressuring her about that. Meanwhile, we actually have one more thing going on, and that is, if you remember Sella Hobart. So Sella is a drama queen from way back when. She ruined many people's relationships, and she ended up having, she actually tried to ruin Temperance's relationship, and she ended up getting sent away to a convent. And so she's a nun now, but she has kind of made her way in a, I can't reorganize this entire build, but that's a later me problem that I'll never actually do. But she has decided to come back and basically say that she wants to serve her hometown and create an orphanage and, help children get on the right path. And so she comes to town. She gets a little plot where, for the church, and she calls Humphrey, and she's like, "We need to talk. You can't see her right now, but apparently there's someone from Journey to Batuu." But she calls on Humphrey and basically says like, "Hey, I want to make an orphanage here. Like, I want to help the children. I want to help guide them in the right path." And Humphrey loves this idea, right? Because he's all about his own PR. He's like, "Oh, this could look really good for me if I'm helping the children and I'm, facilitating this for our community." And, he only cares about his own reputation and everything. And so he does actually hold a lot of the Puritan values, but only so far as like, it just because it's like a societal thing that he does. We're also having another baby. Unfortunately, Esther's third baby and last baby did not survive childbirth, so they just have the one daughter that they actually have. And I'm sad for them, but I'm glad that they at least have one child, and we'll see where they go. But yes, so Sela is here to run an orphanage, and we're going to give her like Jacqueline's child to raise because Isaac isn't doing it. And then she's meeting with Humphrey. Yes, okay. And then while she's out, Muriel finds out that her friend is back. Muriel and Sela were besties, and obviously they haven't talked for a really long time, but Muriel's really excited and happy that she's back. And so she's like, "Oh my gosh, like, you're back, and tell me everything." And they're talking, and Muriel wants to talk about her life and her situation, and Sela is just one track mind. She's very one track mind. She was back then, she is now. She only cares about, marrying the captain, basically. Like, so she's like, "Oh, like Humphrey's married, right? Like, what's his wife's deal?" Like, she knows Temperance, but she's like, "What's the deal now? Like, what is the situation now? Like, what can I exploit now?" And Muriel's kind of like, "Okay, like, whatever. All you want to do is talk about yourself and whoever you want to marry again. Like, you're a nun now. What are you talking about?" So Sela has not changed much. She has not changed very much at all. And then we're going to head to the Harper household. So, as we know, Nathaniel and Nyla have kind of gotten into a romantic relationship. And so, while Nyla has had talks with her family about her intentions, Nathaniel has not done as much, but he knows that the conversation will not go well with his father, but he just kind of has to rip off the Band-Aid and do his best. So he comes and talks to his father, and he's like, "I just want you to know that I've picked out my bride. Like, I've picked out who I want to marry." And his father's like, "Oh, okay. Like, well, you can tell me who it is and I'll tell you if it's okay," because obviously his father wanted some say and some political bargaining chip in his son's marriage. And so he tells him, he's like, "I want to marry Nyla Metacomet." And Tobias flips his lid. He's like, "Are you insane?" Because Tobias is a racist. Let's be honest here. He is not okay with his son marrying someone who is Native American. He's not okay with his son throwing away his, political power, any bargaining chips he has in his potential marriage, and anything that could elevate their family. He's not okay with any of that. He is furious. He is like, "You cannot do that." And Nathaniel is like, "You can't tell me what to do." And so he's like, "Oh, you want to bet?" And so, because this house is not finished and I never decorated it, Nathaniel is going to get basically locked up. He's grounded. He is locked in his room by his father. He has got nowhere to go. And he is being told to think about his actions. Meanwhile, we have the Anderson household, who we added last time. They are here in this house, which I haven't actually even looked at, but let's have them all gather around the table. Now, this family is a very good family. Like, they are what, respectable people should be that never are in my game. Like, they're outgoing. I think the dad's like a bro, athletic. The mom is neat and, outdoorsy and good natured, and everybody's just like happy and friendly. And my backstory for Tom is that he used to be like a soldier of some sort, or in like the military, the British military or something, and then they decided, he decided that he like couldn't take the military life anymore and wanted to kind of start over, and so they came to America. And so they're just like genuinely good people. Like Tom the father, he's a good guy. He is a good guy who wants what's best for people, and he like embodies what a like person in charge kind of should be. So he's not like harsh, and he's not punishing. He's understanding. He's he wants to help people. And so of course Tobias's wife just propositioned him. Um, but anyway, so we're here at church for this week. They're, of course, a good church going family. And Cameron, who in the last one had talked to Nathaniel Smith and was like hearing Nathaniel talk about everything with his sister. Oh, hold on. So we're having another baby. This baby is going to be Thanks Hobart. So that is one of Janice's children. And we're going to get her pregnant again because they have so many baby tries. But he survives. So anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so Cameron last time heard Nathaniel talking about how he was going to sell off his sister and all this drama, and he was kind of worried about Elizabeth. He was like, wow, like that's really not good. And so at church, he sits on the pew next to her so that he can kind of have a private conversation with her while no one's paying attention. And he kind of says to her like, hey, I just want to give you a heads up, like about your brother and what he's been saying about you. And she just kind of sighs because she knows what her brother is like. She knows that he is trash. And so he's trying to tell her, like, just so you know, like, all this stuff. And so she's just kind of like, well, thanks for telling me. I appreciate it. But the truth is, what is she going to do? She can't go against her brother. He's like her owner in this time period. Like, he is the head of her household. He is the man of the house. She has to do what he says. And so she's just kind of like, look, I really appreciate it, but like, okay, like if that's my fate, that's my fate, because there's nothing I can do about it. And that makes Cameron feel really bad. Like, it makes him feel really sad. He's like, wow, okay, like that it makes him feel helpless. It makes him feel like the world isn't as good a place as he hopes it would be, and all of that. So he's just really struggling with that because he kind of wanted to warn her and like hopes that something could be done about this, and there really just isn't. There just isn't anything that can be done, and it's really heartbreaking, but that's just a consequence of the time period. And so he's just kind of like, oh, like he didn't realize that bad things happen to people, and there's sometimes nothing you can do about it. So he's really disheartened by that. But he invites her and her little sister to play a game with him and his little sister, and like the kids are getting along, and they're just trying to have a good time. So then we're going to head into birthdays, a little early today, birthdays. And so what we have is Ruth Hobart becoming a toddler, Barbara Dubois becoming a toddler, Rejoice Smith becoming a toddler, Jason Waldrick becoming a teenager, Delilah Smith becoming a teenager, Amos Phelps becoming a child, Melly Yazzie becoming a child, Winona Waldrick being born and becoming an infant, Thanks Hobart being born and becoming an infant, Baby Smith passing away. And then, actually, I accidentally have a whole glitch where I tried to save and manage worlds when a baby pop-up came up. So that was not good. But we're struggling with that. But Temperance actually had twins, even though she was on her last baby. So Temperance has twins, and she is actually, one of them is a boy and one of them is a girl. And the girl did not survive, but the boy did survive. Bet Humphrey was really happy about that, and his name is Thomas. So Humphrey is obviously very excited about that situation because all he wanted was a boy, and yeah. So that's where we're at. And I think that is it. Next year is Phineas's birthday, so I'm a little worried about that, but hopefully it all goes well, and I hope you guys are excited, so I'll catch you in the next one.